What's up, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome to episode number 23 of the Courage Pays Better Than Fear podcast. And real fast, listen to this connection. Best basketball player of all time wore number 23. This is episode 23. And guess who we have on the show? The man, the myth, the legend himself, Jerremy Newsome. J Money. What's up?
Dude, flipping pumped about this, gentlemen. Thank you. I'm very, very excited, honored, privileged. This is something I've been looking forward to just because you pour so much light and love and happiness into the world. So thanks, gentlemen.
Absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, we're very excited to have you here for episode 23. And listeners, viewers out there, you know how we always start the show. It's with the Furious Three, and Jeremy's going to play along with us by being the subject of the questions. And I'm going to go ahead and get it started, Jerremy. One of the things that you've said to me that I absolutely love is the quote, "Everything in moderation, including moderation." I love that.
That's because it gives you an excuse.
It does.
It gives us an excuse.
So you're real big on quotes, but that's one that really stands out to me. What is your favorite quote of all time?
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Mariam Williamson.
Nice. That's good.
Woo.
I remember that quote.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Starting strong.
Good stuff. Love it. So our podcast is called Courage Pays Better Than Fear. What is your definition of courage?
My definition of courage is knowing exactly what you're afraid of, knowing why you're afraid of it, knowing subconsciously why you're afraid of it, and doing it so boldly that if you fail, every single person calls you a failure and you do it anyway.
Nice.
Good. We got to get on this level with our.
Yeah. we got to come up with some better questions.
I know. We're talking about like, what kind of fruit do you want?
What's your most embarrassing moment? That sort of stuff.
Yeah. So let's close with this.
I won't talk about his.
No, I got lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you've obviously accomplished so much in your life, and you're constantly working. You're never satisfied, never settled. You're always pushing for the best. 20 years from now, when we're talking about Jerremy Newsome, what are you going to be saying about your life and where you're at, and what are those big goals that are really just driving you, propelling you forward?
In 20 years, man, we're going to have to be discussing improvements and changes in our financial, most importantly, our educational system here in the country.
Yes.
When I say financial, I mean like credit score. I think that's the most ridiculous, almost fraudulent way to keep people under your thumb and poor and impoverished. And secondly, I think that the education system is broken. And I personally believe that almost all massive major arguments that we have as a nation, the things that divide us and separate us, from abortion to healthcare to racism to school shootings to obesity to childhood obesity and these challenges that face our children, are all solved through better, proper education and awareness. So and you two know this better than I think anyone else, that is a massive shift that needs to happen. And in 20 years, I would love it if we are all sitting around discussing not only how we did change and the changes that we did make, but how we can continue to progress and make it even better.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jerremy and I came up in the education field. He was I think you noticed we actually taught together, which is cool. I was the special education teacher for all the at-risk kids, right? The kids that everybody else struggled with and had a difficult time. They're like, here you go, Edmund, right? You have a great relationship with these kids, so go ahead and teach them. And he was the content teacher, was the English teacher, and we had a blast. But I mean, we saw it coming up. The education field, it's broken. Like especially the financial piece. Like everything that we talk about money wise, none of this is talked about in the education field at all. And if it is taught, it's not taught the right way. It's the whole Dave Ramsey method. But I mean, everybody needs a budget, but there's still that limiting mindset when it comes to finances.
Well, agreed. But the biggest problem that we're missing on education is the ability to communicate.
Yeah.
It's teaching people thought and creative speaking capabilities, because that's where power comes from. New words will create new thoughts. New thoughts will create new beliefs create new definitions, and new definitions create new worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And if individuals and children are being told to be quiet, sit down, shut up, and listen to me, and not just amalgamate together and have conversations about what does God look like?
Mm-hmm.
What does poverty look like? What does success look like? What does power look like? What does failure look like? And just have open conversations and teach children and young adults how to communicate with each other, how to communicate with parents, how to communicate with each other. Those discussions will transmute so much energy and creation and excitement. And then there won't be any of that weird personality challenges that children face, and all the fear that they have right now, and just talking to each other, and all that starts to dissipate.
They're so confused right now.
Jerremy, one of the things that resonated with me, what you said there, just hearing your emphasis on children, knowing that you're a father of two, something that we pride ourselves on is being a dad. What does fatherhood mean to you? And obviously you could tell that you're passionate about children, the future of children, not just the lives of your own children, but talk to us about fatherhood. How has that impacted you as a man? And, how do you approach that most important role in your life?
I love fatherhood, man. It's so amazing. And what it helped me realize was something very, very obvious, very glaring, because what I began to experience is I started going to the things that all fathers go to and spending time with miserable, fat, sad, non-happy, non-sexual men that are just sitting around existing and drifting. And I realized, if you want to heal this nation, we have to heal the men.
Yeah.
And that's what, it was a huge shift. I mean, dude, I'm sitting at this jumpy castle place, right? I'm taking Jason and Gabriel, and, Jason, I think, is like 4 months at the time. So I'm just kind of holding him, like he can't really walk, so I'm just like playing with him on the trampoline, and Gabe's bouncing around having a good time. And I'm looking around, and there's tons of mothers there, and they're playing with their children, and all the dads are fat beer belly sitting down on those massage chairs.
Yep.
And they're on their phone. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, it was this crazy, like, what parallel universe am I living in?
Mm-hmm.
Fatherhood is about almost a great definition of fatherhood is failure. Teaching your children to fail, teaching them what failure looks like. Mm-hmm. Most dads aren't doing anything. That's why you're talking about courage, right? Courage pays better than fear, but that courageousness is stepping into failure, stepping into losing, stepping into something might go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm going to be there anyway, and I'm going to try it out, because that is fatherhood. Fatherhood is showing your children, son or daughters, how to be better individuals. And the only way to become better is to do things incorrectly, learn from that lesson, learn from the pain of loss, and grow from it.
Yeah. That's deep. I mean, I tell you all the time, like, there's no coincidences. Like, I needed to hear that today. I really did. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you have these thoughts that come through sometimes, and you're always, as a father, you're always worried, always worried. Yeah. What if something happens? What if something happens? Well, you know what? Something might happen. What I need to do is step up, be there, be a man, and handle it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think kids should see their dads try something. It doesn't matter, man. Like, try something, and just, my first 100-mile race, right? Mm-hmm. Great example. Gabriel was there, and he saw me, right? He saw me in the pits of hell at the bottom of the barrel. And he's like, what's wrong, Dad? I was like, right. And so now I have, like, what is wrong?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm just tired. Like, I've been doing 60 miles. Like, that's really it. And he can see that I need to shift. I need to become even better and greater. It's just an opportunity to teach children how to be great individuals. That's what fatherhood is. That's why 85% of children, not necessarily children, but 85% of individuals who are incarcerated, this is the statistic, grew up in a fatherless household.
Yep.
Race is irrelevant. Economic income is irrelevant.
Yep.
Where they're at is irrelevant. The number one correlating feature is, are you going to go to jail or not? Did you have a father in your house?
Bro, I can't even. So that is what made me leave the rat race. As an assistant principal, right, I got to know my kids, and I remember specifically there was a fight in the hallway of one of the schools I was in, breaking up the fight, but I saw a great group of kids walk past the fight, not stop with their phone, pull the phone out, went straight to class. So the next day, found those same kids, followed them to class, and said, guys, I got to ask you a question. The fight the other day, y'all just walked by, you didn't partake in any of it. What, like, why? And that they said our dads would kill us, right? Like, dads, like, that would be it, right? And I'm sitting there listening to these guys, like, you got to be kidding me. Like, all right, so parents are involved, good kids. Then I took it a step further and did like some exit interview questions with a lot of seniors that ended up graduating, and found out that like 90% of the kids that made it through, right, that were successful, no issues, no discipline issues, there was a father figure in the house. Okay. There was a father, whether it was dad or whether it was a male role model, there was a father.
Sure.
And then here I was spending 60, 70-hour work weeks, and I was going to be absent, right? My son, my wife was having her second son, and I was like, I'm putting in 60, 70-hour work weeks. My next step's going to be principal. It's going to be even more. I was like, I just can't. This isn't something I got to do. Like, I need to be home so my kids aren't the one getting suspended. So that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things too, Jerremy, obviously the elite of elite stock traders, trader of all markets, they call him J Money for a reason. But there's so much more to Jerremy. And that's why we're excited to be sharing this opportunity with the Courage audience here. But we talked about fatherhood, Jerremy, but one thing, when we were at Abundance, just seeing you, one thing that I tell everybody, like, what's Jerremy like? The guy that you see in the videos, or Jerremy is Jerremy all the time.
Yeah.
But something else that I think is really special, and something that I admire about you too, is how you treat your relationship with your wife. I mean, just fatherhood is one component of being a man. That other part is being the protector, the caretaker, everything for your wife. Talk to the audience about the importance of that relationship, your significant other, your spouse.
Are we really going to bring this up after I just took a picture of my wife in the weeds and posted it on Facebook?
I love it.
I mean, my wife was laughing the whole time. I got crap for that. People were messaging me like, bro, really? You gonna take a picture of your wife before you help her? I'm like, bro, she was laughing the whole time. Like, you got to know my wife.
Sure.
But so it is what it is. But go ahead, you can answer that.
No, it is. It's a valid question. It's a deep question. There's a lot of depth there, because for those who are listening, I'm about to hopefully shock your world for a second. I've learned that there's a very unique relationship with me and how I operate, and it's polar opposite from what most people do. Most people's world goes like this: work, kids, wife, family, bills, car, lawn, so on and so forth, everything else, them as a man. Right? After everyone else eats, everyone else is taken care of, I'm the very, very last person that gets scraps at the table. I'm the bottom of the barrel. Whatever's left, then I will be there. I took all of that and flipped it. I'm number one.
Nice.
Me, wife, kids, everything else. That's the three. Because it's very, very crucial when we do that. The reason most men are drifting, they have no energy. They're tired. They haven't poured into themselves. They're not happy. They're purposeless. They're floating around. They don't have anything that just compels them with so much energy, vitality, and vigor that they could get up and rip a brick in half as soon as they wake up from, right? Purpose is the best alarm clock. I have an alarm clock set just in case. Don't need it. So I think very, very frequently we as men need to shift this paradigm and put all types of energy, purpose, healing, growth into ourselves. Now, for my men who are listening to this, and they're like, dude, that's impossible, right? It's easy for you to say because you're rich or whatever. Like, no, dude, if you're working 70 hours a week and you have the whole family thing and you're sleeping and you do all the things, I've done the math. You have 13 hours easily a week to do something for yourself. something for yourself. That's about 2 hours a day. So break it up into sections. When I say something for yourself, I don't mean beer and a movie. I mean, what if you took an hour and just went outside, sat down in the grass with a pen and paper and just wrote your thoughts, wrote your fears, wrote your anxieties, wrote your dreams, your hopes, your goals. And what if you did that every day? Your life would change so dramatically, because what most people do is we go after comfort. Comfort is my enemy. Comfort is, that's what most individuals are going to do because it's easier to do that. It's actually pretty easy to run a marathon. 30 minutes before I came to this podcast, you guys said I was right on time. And I was almost a little stressed about it because I had to leave. I left the park at 10:45 and it's 15 minutes to my house from there. So I was at the park with my wife and we were climbing stairs, getting ready for one of our events. And the very, very last set, I put her on my back and carried the entire flight of stairs. It's a relatively steep flight of stairs. Now, Jerremy knows pretty good about this back carrying event. It's pretty flipping hard, right? It's not the easiest thing in the world.
Truth.
And it's a really, really good workout. But that was for me, right? Spending that time, that's something that I like doing. But it's actually easy to do that. Most men listening have never carried their wife up anything ever. Not even once. Because it's easier not to. It's actually pretty easy to run a marathon. Me and Jerremy have run a few. It's easier not to, though. It's a lot easier not to run a marathon. Comfort is my enemy. Conformity is my enemy. Mediocrity is the enemy of greatness. I want to pursue greatness. I want to live in greatness. I want to eat greatness. I want to have a great morning, not a good morning. I've come too far for good. So all of those things being said, I value my relationship with myself, because if we are created in the image of God, if we were created or evolved, however you feel like we got here, it's irrelevant. You're the most important player in your game. And if you aren't operating at 100%, you're giving your children, your wife, and everyone else in your life a 20% version of Edmund, of Jerremy, of Mike, of whoever's listening to this.
Yeah.
We have to be the best versions of ourselves as men. And when we do that, we can operate at a level so much more succinct and powerful than every other being on this planet. A powerful man with purpose and drive can accomplish anything in life, anything. And that is a fearsome component to come against.
Dude, I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Let's
Come
go.
on, bro. We just built this studio. I do not need you running through the wall over there. Because I will turn this camera around if you do it. Like, look at this nut job.
So so one thing that I want to share with the listeners, and we talked about this I think last week, but habits are what make the man. I feel like this episode we're focusing on what it means to be a man, fatherhood, all the things associated with it, which is super important topic. But you're talking about taking care of yourself, prioritizing yourself, and that starts with habits. And just being with you when we were at the abundance retreat, just seeing your habits. 5 a.m. Where my savages are going to meet me for a run.
Yeah, you were sleeping, weren't you?
I was there. I was there. I missed the last night because I was sleeping. He was sleeping. But it's those types of things. People think that there are not people really out there like that who are up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., going and getting their workout in, or meditating, getting a game of chess in to sharpen your mind. So those habits are important. What would be 3 habits that you would recommend to our listeners today that really are going to be transformative, and that self-care piece, that prioritizing yourself, are really going to help you take that next step?
That's awesome, dude. That's a good one. Number 1, hot yoga. If you haven't done it, do it. I'm not saying do it every day. I'm not saying wake up at 5 a.m., do hot yoga every day. I'm saying doing it once. Do it once a month. Do it once a week. Do it once if you've never done it. Hot yoga is the only time in life that I feel like currently I've experienced nirvana. That's that feeling of not knowing anything, being fully unaware, being fully in the nothing, in the void of quantum, essentially, as Joe Dispenza would put it. And I didn't feel anything. I wasn't aware of time, energy, or space. And I don't know how long it lasted. My assumption is 2-3 seconds. It wasn't until I realized I haven't thought anything. That was a thought. It was a cool moment for me. And anyway, it's the only time I've ever experienced it. So I think hot yoga is a great one. Most of the men I've worked with have never done it. And so I would put that on the list as number one, because you can do that for $35 tomorrow. Most of the people listening. Number two, one of my other favorite quotes: in silence, we hear the most. Go spend time in silence. Just you. Just you, not your mom, not your brothers, not your dad, not your cousins, no beer, no alcohol, nothing. Just you, right? That, Jerremy, that's why you have this podcast. That's why, if you think, brother, that you are making a bunch of money trading and you finishing the calendar club have no correlation, you're an idiot, right? The whole time you're out there by yourself at 10:30 at night, finishing your last, whatever, 26 miles, that is silence. You're out there by yourself. You're just, nothing's on. You're wearing your poo-poo pants because you hate life and you're miserable, but you're in silence, and you're starting to hear either messages or dreams or goals or aspirations from whoever, from yourself, from your parents, from your ancestors. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to call it. You're listening, you're downloading, you're getting, you're in a meditative state. So be in silence. I'm not saying forever. A lot of people, they'll say, "Oh, I'm driving my car, I'm in silence." That doesn't count, because you're still doing something. You're in the zone. Like, you're trying to, you need to be writing, thinking, moving, creating. Motion creates emotion. And I would tell most of the people who are listening, men or women, to go on. There's a book called The 12-Hour Walk by one of my mentors and best friends, Colin O'Brady. And it's very, very pretty obvious, right? 12-hour walk. Go walk 12 hours. And you can't have your phone, can't have anything. Just go walk 12 hours. And once in your life, it'll be a humongous, absolutely incredible, inspirational moment for anyone who finishes that task. So that's number two. And then number three is try to create new experiences in your life. If you're a man, with your wife; if you're a woman, with your husband, try to create new experiences. Do something you've never done before with that special person in your life, because new experiences create new neural pathways in your brain. New neural pathways create new thoughts. New thoughts create new definitions, and definitions create new words, right? New words create new worlds. And so as you're building all this out, those three things, as easy and simple as they can be implemented tomorrow, would radically change every single listener's whole entire life, for sure.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There's that list.
I mean, there's that 12-hour walk thing is something I need to do. Like, that's one of the most difficult things for me, is sitting still. You know, I think we talked about it a little bit, but like sitting still and not having someone with me or around me all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly like, you know, I have somebody with me doing something. I mean, I don't even like, you know, doing my business ventures or anything else by myself, right? I always want someone there with me all the time.
Would you like to know why that is, Edmund?
Why? Yeah, absolutely.
Because you felt abandoned as a young child by your father.
Yeah, I can see that.
So there's just a natural attachment. You want to be around people, and that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that because I know you well, although I do know you well. That's a very, very normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced it for all my 20s. So all that means is, it's not a negative, by the way, at all. I love being around people. It's an opportunity for you to go, all right, if I want to start healing that relationship with my dad more, I need to go be by myself and feel that disconnect, feel that detachment, feel that abandonment, and really feel it, because then you can heal from it, right? If you cut your arm and have no idea that it's cut until you look down, you don't even feel any pain, right? We've all experienced that at some point in our life. But when you feel the pain, then you know that there's something there, and you can actually take the precautionary measures and the right steps to begin to heal truly from that pain. And that healing will create massive, monumental, and also micro shifts in every aspect of your life.
Good stuff,
man.
It's deep, isn't it?
You guys are getting a ton of gold nuggets out there today.
Yeah, you're getting
so
huge gold nuggets.
We can't,
which means you definitely better share this, smash that subscribe button.
Yeah. Agreed.
So listen, you can't bring Jerremy Newsome on the show and then my novice trading self without talking the stock market. I've got to talk about this for a moment. So it was a year ago. Yeah. You came into my life. I remember the first phone conversation we had, and just the financial abundance that has happened yesterday. I called you, I've ever had. But talk about the markets. Let people know. I mean, we try to get through just the power of how
the
trading,
the fear, yeah,
right?
talk about the fear. Like everybody's always talking about, there's fear of people wanting to get involved in real estate. There's fear of people wanting to get involved in the stock market. Like, how easy is it?
Massive wealth is often a mastery of second grade math.
Damn.
It's a good quote. I like it. But it's true. I just had a phone conversation from 10:45 to 11 with one of my other mentors on the way back from the park. His name is Oren Claff, and Oren is a capital raiser. He's the president of West Coast Finance, and he has raised a few $billions. Not that that's a cool number or impressive. It's just a bigger number than what I've raised. So I need to work with people who've done what I've done. I'm not a billionaire yet. So I need to work with billionaires. I want to be a billionaire. That's simple. I can teach people how to make hundreds of millions. I can't teach people how to make billions. I haven't done that. So I have to learn from people who have. So that being said, I was asking him questions about like, what's the next deal we're getting into and what came down the pipeline. Because I was on a vacation for about a week and a half. We haven't chatted, and I just want to kind of get caught up. And he told me about this guy that he met that he's 82 and he's Scottish and he's worth a few billion. Like, that's so cool. And he's like, let me tell you about the kind of stuff that this guy did in his life. He would find 10,000 Sharpie markers that accidentally got printed with a different font from, the company that makes Sharpies, 3M. And so they disposed of them because they don't want to send them out. So he would pay the dump guy $5,000 cash. Hey, don't discard of these markers. Here's $5,000. Give them to me. He would pay the guy $5,000, take something that was going to be given away for free, and sell each marker for $1.20 to a school. That type of like hustle money.
Yeah.
But that is second grade math. Yeah. Pay $5,000 and sell something that 10,000 units for $1.20.
Yeah.
So you're 12,000. He's just after that $7,000. But if he can repeat that on scale, and he said he still do stuff like that now. If you repeat the exact same type of math at scale, real estate, stock market, it all works. The reason that people are terrified of the stock market is because they don't understand it. Real estate's been around for thousands of years. Everyone's had to live somewhere. The stock market, especially the U.S. stock market, has been around for 120 years. So if your dad's dad or your mom's mom didn't teach your dad or your mom, you don't know. And so therefore, it's a mystery to you. Simple as that. And once you all know how I got introduced to the stock market.
Yep.
Forrest Gump. When he said that Lieutenant Dan, I'll do the voice, right?
Do it.
Lieutenant Dan invested into some kind of fruit company and said, we don't have to worry about money no more. And I said, good, one less thing. Right? And so I never heard we don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
First time I ever heard that. I was 6. And I asked my dad, what's investing? What's the fruit company? And my dad told me investing. So he told me about the stock market and what it is. And then he told me about Apple computers. That was it. That was my introduction. Now, my dad wasn't an avid stock market enthusiast. He didn't know much about it, but he knew how it worked. Most people know generally how the stock market works to an extent. Like, they know that it exists, and that's it. So my dad knew Apple is in the stock market. That was it. That was his education. So I begged him to buy some shares, and he finally figured it out, and we did. We ended up buying $3,000 worth of Apple in 1994. And so that became a very, very large position. I mean, right now it'd be worth 37 million, give or take. And I was 6, and I made that money from picking blackberries and selling them for $1 a bag. Now, I sold them $36.995 million ago, but the point being, even though I don't have to worry about money right now, I would still not have had to worry about money. And it's just such an incredible advent that if a 6-year-old can figure out the stock market and, in air quotes, make 37 million, why can't people do it right now?
Yeah. It's that fear, man. It's the fear of the unknown, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Anything else you got for?
No, I mean, I like the whole concept of, like you said, the guy buys the markers at one price, turns around and sells them for another, right? So it kind of resonates with me a lot. I grew up in a pretty rough area, hung out with a lot of people, and we were all kind of on our own, doing a lot of different things to make money. And there are so many people that I knew growing up that have that ability, that have that skill. And I hope you guys are listening today, right? I know there's one or two of you that are following me very closely right now, but you have that skill, right? You guys have that skill. I had that skill. And it's time to take that skill and do something, great with it, right? Build the life that you want to build for yourself and your family, and get after it. It's doable.
100%. So Jerremy, just for something fun to close out here, I'm going to give you 5 words, just random words, man. Give me the first thing that comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be one word. It could be a statement, but I'm just going to throw 5 words out at you. Okay. Let's close this on a fun note.
Do it.
Elon Musk.
First trillionaire.
Nice.
Feel free to jump in with a word if you got one.
Go ahead. I'll think on it. Ooh. President.
The greatest honor that this country can produce.
Like it.
David Goggins.
Stay hard.
Joe Biden. Just kidding. You okay? Just teasing.
Put me on the spot on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that.
I got real life trading.
To enrich lives.
Beautiful. And the last one, courage pays better than fear.
It does. Figure out how to be courageous. Figure out what you're afraid of. Do it anyway. It's okay to be afraid. Everyone has fears. I have fears. Jerremy has fears. I'm going to have fears. Presidents, billionaires, everyone has a fear. Figure out what it is. Figure out how to heal from it as best you possibly can. And once that fear gets removed, your entire life will become so clear, so simple, so succinct, and so easy that everything that you ever wanted will finally be given to you.
Love it. And that is the perfect way to end episode number 23. Look at those guns. Look at those guns. Episode 23, the Courage Pays Better Than Fear podcast. Jerremy, man, we love you so much, brother. Thank you for pouring into us, to the audience. Where can people check out what you're doing, what you're about? And we'll put it in the show notes.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I would love for people, if you haven't, to just go check out my stock market education. I mean, 98% of it's totally free. Just go do it. Like, why not get a free bachelor's degree in stock market, reallifetrading.com. And also reach out to me anywhere on social media. I have a great social media team that, deletes all the spam and then make sure that if you're a real person, I will reach back out to you. I'm not busy. I have so much free time. It's crazy. And I would love to help more people. So please reach out to me and let me know how I can help you.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, again, everybody, thank you so much for checking in. Number 23, we'll be back next Friday for episode number 24. Don't forget to click that like button.
Smash the subscribe button.
Share with your family and friends. Leave some comments. Give some kudos to Jerremy in the comments. Again, check out Real Life Trading. Check him out on socials. We'll link that as well. But we will see you back here next week for a brand new episode, because courage
pays better than fear.
Peace, everybody.